Good morning and hello. It's me, Kenny Polcari, your host of the party. Everything you need to know about the markets, what they did on Friday, what they're going to do today, and what they may do this week. So let's just talk about it really quick. What happened on Friday? Well, we saw investors took stocks higher on the back of Jay Powell's Jackson Hole Summit presentation, where he did not disappoint anybody, right? That started at 10 o'clock, and Jay Powell did not disappoint investors. He didn't disappoint the markets. He didn't disappoint anybody. Investors, as I said, took stocks higher as they celebrated the idea of a taper without a rate rise. Hurricane Ida slams into the Louisiana coast over the weekend, right? Watch the insurance and reinsurance stocks this week. Energy gained ahead of the hurricane. Expect some pullback, though, today before the next advance, and we'll talk about that. ADP and non-farm payrolls this week. Those two data points will be the focus. And what do we have for dinner tonight? We're going to try the veal polpettone. Oh my God, it's so delicious and simple to make. Okay, so it is Monday morning, so good morning. It's August 30th, and the Jackson Hole Summit has come and gone. And while some expected a bombshell announcement, none was to come, right? As Jay Powell took to the stage, he did exactly as we expected. He acknowledged the improvement. He acknowledged that the Fed has been discussing tapering, and he acknowledged that a tapering does not mean any rise in rates anytime soon. They are mutually exclusive. He did acknowledge, though, that tapering could start this year, which we all know, think November, December. But he did not suggest that the Delta variant was going to disrupt these plans, and that was just the extra fuel that investors needed to burn the fire, right? We've been talking about, will the Delta variant cause a problem, will it not? Well, Jay Powell and some others think it is not. He made it abundantly clear, like I said, that tapering and interest rate increases are exclusive events. And investors loved it, taking stocks higher and then higher again. And now it's officially the end of summer as we move into the Labor Day weekend. But before we do that, let's look at how the market celebrated on Friday, right? Energy, the XLE rallying 2.6%. Part of that was on the hurricane idea. Financials up 1.3%, the XLF. Communication stocks, XLC, up 1.5%. Basic materials up 1.3%. The value and growth trade in a tie, both sectors up 0.8%. Utilities and healthcare, though, XLU and XLV are the only two that gave up any ground at all. And what they did was essentially insignificant. I mean, they were off small. So it was a good day for stocks and for investors. By the end of the day, the Dow added 242 points or 0.7%. The S&P up 40 points, 0.8%. The NASDAQ ahead by 183 points or 1.2%. The Russell way out in the lead, rising 63 points or 2.8%. And the transports gained 181 or 1%. The VIX, which is the fear index, fell by 13%, which makes sense, right? No more fear. And the Treasury ended the week yielding 1.3%, kind of essentially where we're trading towards the end of the week. Over the weekend, we witnessed the return of the 13 American servicemen and women who gave their lives in the terrorist attack last week as we supposedly hit ISIS-K targets in Afghanistan this weekend as we wind down and get ready to pull out by 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, August 31st. Remember, 3:30 on Tuesday in D.C. is midnight Wednesday morning, September 1st in Kabul. So that's going to be the time to watch, right? No one's really sure what time frame we're looking at. In addition, Hurricane Ida came ashore and pummeled the Louisiana coast as a Category 4, sure to cause billions in damage. Entergy, ETR, the largest provider of electricity in the area, suffered a catastrophic failure at about 6 p.m. last night. So it was lights out. Only when the sun rises this morning will we all get a picture of the damage left in her wake. All estimates, though, suggest that while it was a disaster, it was not a repeat of Katrina from 16 years ago to the day. Watch the insurance and reinsurance stocks in the weeks ahead, right? Insurance ETFs include the KIE, which is the S&P Insurance ETF, IAK, which is the iShares Insurance ETF, KBWP, which is the Invesco Property and Casualty Insurance, and reinsurance stock names include RGA, GNW, Sun Life, Great Western, and Principal Financial Group. Okay, this morning we're seeing global markets all higher, many of them reacting to Jay Powell's speech on Friday, when he said that the tapering will most likely begin by year end, but there's still So much ground to cover before any rate hikes. And that is helping support the investor psyche. Markets across Asia all higher, except for China, which closed 0.3% lower on more news that Beijing is looking to at new rules to restrict Chinese internet companies from going public in the U.S. Away from that, Japan added 0.5%, Hong Kong was up 0.5%, Australia up 0.2%, Taiwan up 1%, and South Korean Kospi up 0.3%. European markets are also up this morning, marginally, but they are up as they take their cue from Asian trading. Markets in the UK are closed today for a holiday, yet the other markets are open, right? There are no major earnings releases, but we will get inflation readings coming out of both Germany and Spain. At 6 o'clock this morning, all European markets are up about 0.3% across the board, right? Not really active either. U.S. futures are marginally higher. The Dow up this morning about 19 points. The S&P's up 3. Nasdaq's ahead by 20. The Russell's up 5. The VIX is ahead by 1.5%, while the 10-year remains at 1.3%, right? So all relatively marginally higher, just marginally, nothing really to get worked up about. The dollar index fell 0.4% on Friday. That ended the day at 92.68, and it's trading right there this morning. Gold, which broke out Friday, rising $25 or 1.4% to close out the week at $1,817 an ounce. Recall that I said last week that gold was teasing both the intermediate and long-term trend lines right at 1815. If we broke up and through them, we could most likely expect gold to test resistance at 1840 and then again at 1900. Oil surged on Friday on the back of the anxiety over what Hurricane Ida was about to inflict on the coast and on oil production and refinement as energy companies shut down the rigs in the region, right? Traders took it right up to trendline resistance at 69.68, where it did find some sellers. Expect to see some of Friday's move, which was up 2.6%, get digested today and likely tomorrow as we assess the damage done and how long it will get to reopen those rigs. In any event, demand for energy remains strong. And what you are hearing now is that countries around the world are no longer suggesting that the Delta variant will disrupt the global recovery. Listen to what just listen to what Jay Powell said on Friday, as well as one of those ECB governors last week said the same thing, that they did not expect the Delta variant across Europe to disrupt their global recovery. Eco data today includes pending home sales month over month up 0.4%, while year over year is expected to show a decline of 8.5%. We're also going to get the Dallas Fed survey of plus 23. Later in the week, we're going to get plenty of other information. Much of it will be pushed to the back burner as this is a big vacation week. But the two data points that everyone is going to be paying attention to is Wednesday's ADP report and Friday's non-farm payroll report. Both key numbers for the Fed and for monetary policy. Expectations are calling for plus 638,000 new jobs created by ADP and 750,000 new jobs according to the NFP report, all created in August, right? The unemployment rate is expected to drop to 5.2% from 5.4%, while the underemployment rate is expected to drop below 9%. The Institute of Supply Management, the ISM, is expected to report both manufacturing purchasing managers indexes, PMIs, and services PMI. Both of those reads are expected to remain in the high 50s, low 60s, which suggests continued bullishness and expansion. Bitcoin this morning is trading at 47,000. Ethereum still trading at 3,100. No change at all from late last week where they've been kind of churning, right? Off a little bit from the 50,000 that we saw Bitcoin and 3,300 that we saw Ethereum trade earlier in the week. The S&P ended the week at 4509 after trading in the range of 44.47, 44.74, and 44.15. But we're sure to get all kinds of geopolitical news this week, considering tomorrow, August 31st at 3:30 p.m. is the target date, and it's only 33 hours away. The September-October timeframe is now here, and you know it can be a seasonally volatile time of year. So stay focused, because in that volatility will be opportunity. We remain in the broader 44.10, 46.10 trading channel. Anything within that channel would be considered normal trading. Remember, you can text the word invest to 21,000 on your cell phone. You get my digital business card. Feel free to download it. It goes right to your phone. It's got my email, my text, my phone number on there. Feel free to reach out to me anyway, because I'm always happy to engage and talk markets and planning, thoughts, concerns, ideas, whatever you'd like. I'm always happy to talk about it. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at Kenny Polcari. And on Instagram, my ID is at KennyP1961. And you're watching this, so you can always find me on YouTube as well, Kenny Polcari Media. So what are we having for dinner tonight? Now, this dish is really, really special. It's simple to make. It's a little bit different than the traditional meatloaf, and it's made with veal, but it's stuffed with scrambled eggs and capicola. Oh my God, it's so delicious, right? It's called veal polpettone. It is a veal meatloaf, but unlike a regular beef meatloaf, this one is stuffed with fresh grated Parmigiana, scrambled eggs, and like I said, capicola, seasoned with salt and pepper, and then bathed in white wine at the end. It looks beautiful when it's sliced and presented. Okay, so for this you need 6 cloves of garlic, 2 pounds of veal, 6 cloves of garlic sliced thin, 8 eggs, 5 cups of fresh grated Parmigiana. In fact, I mixed up 3 cups of Parmigiana and 2 cups of Pecorino Romano. It was delicious. Salt and pepper, olive oil, butter, chopped capicola. I used about 1 cup of that. And finally, the dry white wine. You know me, Pinot Grigio, Santa Margherita is what I use. The recipe also calls for chopped parsley, more for color though than taste, right? Parsley really adds just color. You want to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. That's the first thing you want to do. And then in a big bowl, you want to begin by mixing the garlic, the veal, the cheese, salt and pepper, and 5 of the 8 eggs. Now go easy on the salt because the cheese can be salty, so don't put too much salt. You got obviously pepper, right? I would err on the side of less salt when mixing because if you need it, you can always add more salt when you eat it. But if you put too much salt, then you've ruined it. Now take the remaining 3 eggs, scramble them, fry them up, melt a teaspoon of butter in a frying pan over low heat, add the eggs, let them set, rolling the pan a bit to get the eggs to set. Now flip the eggs over to the other side. Don't mush them all up. Try to keep it more like an omelet. Once done, remove it. Just take the pan, slide it out on the cutting board, and then cut it into strips. You want long strips of basically scrambled eggs. Now, on a long piece of wax paper, lay out the veal mix and form it into a rectangle about a ½ an inch thick with the 2 pounds of meat, right? You're going to have a nice size rectangle. You're going to use the width of the wax paper as the guide. Spread the mix lengthwise this way. Now spread the cooked eggs and the chopped capicola over the meat, right? Now, after you do that, using the wax paper, roll the veal and make a loaf out of it, right? So you're going to roll it and then roll it again so you make a loaf out of it. In a Pyrex glass baking dish, add the olive oil, enough just to cover the bottom of the dish. Don't make a puddle. Put it in the oven to heat the olive oil. You have not added the loaf yet. Just put the pan in the oven to heat the olive oil. When it's hot, remove the dish and now carefully place the loaf in the dish and return it to the oven to bake for 45 minutes. Do not cover it. After 45 minutes, you're going to add the wine. I used about 3 cups. I poured generously over the veal loaf so that it's bathing in wine. You don't want to drown it. You just want it bathing. Return it to the oven and cook it for another 15 minutes. After that, remove it. Let it sit just for 3 minutes. Take it out of the baking dish, put it on your cutting board, slice it into generous portions, and serve it hot. Now, I served this with baby peas and fresh mozzarella and a large arugula salad, simply dressed with salt and pepper, oregano, olive oil, and fresh lemon juice. That's it. It's a simple dish, yet it's a great dish. It's a different kind of a meatloaf. I've never made it with beef. I've only made it with veal because it's a veal dish. And it's really, really good. You'd be very surprised. And it's not that difficult to make, but when you cut it and slice it and you present it like that, it looks really great because you see the egg inside, the chopped capicola, then you got the fresh mutz on the side. I put my mutz right, I cut it up and I put my mutz right on top of it and I eat it together. Delish. In any event, it is Monday morning. The sun is up, as you can see. The day's about to get started. I will see you tomorrow. Take good care.